idea before working undercover how easy it is to become an addict or how difficult it is to survive an addiction. I learned the hard way. I'm lucky to be alive. I wrote Rush because I was bent on exposing the drug war for the sham it was back then and remains today. I experienced firsthand the way the system works and I was pissed off about it. I remember my editor saying to me, "Oh yeah, it's evident you wrote it on the red ass." I don't know what that means. It must mean, did you write it while you were mad? I don't know. Revisiting the book, I was stunned to realize the number of SAs that occur in the story. We didn't so much talk about it back then because that kind of admission only resulted in shame and blame for the victim. I don't think I fully recognized the incidents as I describe in the book as SAs. It was just the way that things worked. If you were a woman working in the man's world, you had to figure out how to deal with it, which oftentimes meant keeping quiet. I got a lot of mail after the book and later the film produced. So there's a film, apparently, that came out in 1991. And I still get mail today from people who have been slammed by the system, people who are struggling with addiction, and those who are locked up in prison for possession for selling small amounts of drugs. If there's anything I hope you will take away from reading Rush, aside from the experience of what it was like to be a young female rookie cop thrown in a world of danger, deception, and treachery, it's the recognition that the drug war itself is every bit as damaging as drug addiction, and in some ways even more so. That's Kim Wozencraft, Wozencraft, Kim Wozencraft, and she wrote that author's note in 2017, so she's alive and well at 2017. This book had been recommended to me on like one of my book pages, and I just had a hard time finding it, and now I know why. Like it's only recently been, turned into an ebook. I found it on Kindle Unlimited. Crazy enough, like why didn't I look there? I have Kindle Unlimited, but I just kept like looking at the libraries and it wasn't happening. So essentially she is, I think that this story is placed in the 90s, but her actual experience is like in the 80s. But anyways, she's young. She's basically fresh out of what? I don't know. She's young. And she gets thrown in as a narcotics officer, which at this time, or undercover, which at this time seems like these were pretty disposable people to this war. Like, go. And you are not supposed to on your own supply, but they do, because they get in these situations that are very dangerous, and if they don't participate, then they will get like found out, basically, like, oh, you're not gonna do that, you're just over here partying with us, but you're not gonna do that. Like, so they do it, and they do it to make their cases, and what they're supposed to do is go out, party, buy stuff, and then they're supposed to take it, package it into evidence, and write who they bought it from. But meanwhile, like, they're out there like kind of hanging with these people every day, so they're hearing like why these people are the way they are, and they feel bad for them, and they're making friends with them. I mean, these are people they're eating, partying, sleeping with, like, and they are in the long run just turning them into the system. So they're supposed to like package these up and turn them in for evidence, but what they do is they turn into users. So they are using a lot that they're purchasing, and then they're like watering it down, or like cutting it and then turning that in, and really what are they gonna say? Like, why is this all so weak? Like, hey, that's what I got, so they turn into like heavy users, and they're going bonkers. And sometimes they're sent on these like impossible jobs, or like the higher ups are like, we need to get this guy, and he's like an impossible target. Like, he doesn't even party or do anything. How are they supposed to get close to him? So very interesting. I'm on page 187. So I need to actually get back to my page that I was on before I forget, because I took it back to the beginning to read that author's note. There we are, page 187. Okay. So, and actually she ends up like falling in love with weird dealer, like whatever, but she does it. She takes him over there, and then those two couples for the night, they take the, and then they swap. They swap. But like it was all deception because Freya, like neither of them really wanted that, but Freya kind of like manipulated the whole situation. So they wake up and they're like, oh my god, what did we do? What did we do? Well, lo and behold, a few months later, Freya, the ex-influencer, is pregnant. And so they're like, shit, is this his? Is this his? Like, it gets crazy. And like the teenager that's kind of like obsessed, she starts like giving info back and forth because they're starting to freak out. They're like obviously this couple's been wanting a baby for a long time.